Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm at the edge of the world down in Argentina, doing a little bit of a digital nomad kind of thing, a little bit of work, a little bit of play, a little bit of living, just being in the summer and trying to get away from the craziness and chaos in the United States, which is, of course, impossible, or it feels like it's impossible at this point in time. And I guess that's just the price we pay for having those of us who were, I guess, lucky enough to be born in the United States. It's been lucky up until this point, I would say, the luck of geography, I like to call it. But that's the price you pay for living in what is essentially the most powerful country in the world, when the most powerful country in the world elects one of the most weakest leaders the world has ever known. You know what I'm talking about. So, a re-election, actually. And I find it just amazing that all the people who were Ukraine supporters, but were like, so critical of Joe Biden and Blinken, so critical of the United States, saying, oh, they're just giving them enough weapons to survive. They need to let them strike back, all these things. But Trump, he'll come in, peace through strength, peace through strength. Where are they now? Those people. I could name names. I could show you screen grabs. I could show you a video of a really stupid person who made just a dumb, idiotic video about this. I'm not going to do it right now because that's not the purpose. The purpose is to try to fix what we can, the mess that people like that, and of course, the other folks who were always going to vote for this guy, got us into. So, as you know, Trump is aligning with Russia, which is absurd. Putin is, of course, a war criminal. Russia is a terrorist state. I've been to Ukraine, as you know, and I've seen the damage firsthand. I've seen the trauma. I've seen evidence of the war crimes. I've been to Bucha, Izum, Kherson, Kharkiv, the list goes on. And the thing is, the people that are quote unquote supporting Russia, like Trump, they know better, but they don't care. It's transactional. Or perhaps it has something to do with Trump's been going to Russia since the 1980s. He's been getting money from Russia. Elon Musk, we know, is a piece of garbage. Both are human stains on humanity. What do we do about it? Well, no one person is supposed to have this much power ever. Not the world's richest person, not the president of the United States. But what's happening is Congress and the Senate are rolling over for Trump, those that are in his party. These are not conservatives. These are not even, I don't even consider them Republicans. At this point, they're just maggots. That's all they are. Pure ideological maggots who are fearful people who apparently are doing what they're doing because they are afraid. There's a crisis of cowardice in this country. Some are afraid, some are on board ideologically. I can't tell you. I mean, maybe it'll come out someday. We'll find out, who's getting rubles from who has what on who. I'm hoping I'm alive when that day happens. In the meantime, we've got to try to do some damage control. So one of the best things that you can do is to reach out to your senator or congressperson. As you know, as I've told you before, I live in New York, but I'm from Tennessee. I have land in Tennessee. I pay taxes in Tennessee. So when it comes to advocating for Ukraine, I typically I go where the work needs to get done, which is unfortunately Tennessee, which has some of the worst representatives in the country because they have some of the lowest voter rates in the country. People are not engaged. They're only about MAGA, 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 Trump, 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 and that's it, generally speaking, as a whole. And I'm depressed about that. I'm sad, but it is what it is. So who do we have? Well, Marsha Blackburn. I met with Marsha Blackburn the first time I went down to DC for the Ukraine Action Summit, which I believe was a year and a half ago, fall of 2023, if I recall. Marsha Blackburn came marching into the room like she was a pageant in Miss America. Putin cannot win. Like, just gaslighting us, man. Because when she had a chance to vote for aid, the very next vote, she voted against it. So while the Ukrainians are in the room, Marsha Blackburn is saying Putin cannot win. I support you. She was bragging that she had been to Ukraine. Big deal, dude. Big deal. You went with your security detail. You took a train in. You went out. You got your photo op, Marsha. And then when it came time to actually help Ukrainians, what did you do? You left them high and dry, just like you're doing now. Because you're a traitor. Because you're a coward. And a nobody, and a nothing. The average human being in Ukraine is worth 10 Marsha Blackburns. But that's who she is. Scott Desjardins, one of the less controversial ones, but same thing. Same thing, turns his back on Ukraine every time. What's up, Scott? You don't like freedom? You don't like democracy? You prefer Putin's brand of power? Where people like me fall out of windows? Is that what it's going to come down to? Because I'm a journalist, I'm being critical. So maybe I'll fall out of my New York window in a year or two. Maybe it won't take that long. That's what happens in Russia. Just an epidemic of people falling out of windows. Those poor people speaking out, speaking truth to power. And that's the reward they get. Because that's the way Putin rolls. And apparently that's the way Trump wants to roll. Bill Haggerty, another coward. Just another know-nothing coward. We haven't even got to Tim Burchett, who's an idiot, who's a fool. Look, I'd love to strangle these people. I'd love to smack them around. Not Marsha. She's a female. I wouldn't do that. But I wouldn't do that to even the men. Because that's not how it works. You have to call them. You have to try to reason with them. And the reality is they were not going to be reasoned with. My call is going to not mean a lot. But my call combined with your call, combined with someone else's, and I'm asking and begging, is there anybody in Tennessee who has a moral compass left? Who actually practices what they preach when they go to church on Sunday for 2 hours? And then you leave, and then you what? Support a guy who supports Putin? Who cuts off U.S. aid for the poorest people on the planet? Who turned our government over to the richest man in the world? Fake Christians is what they are. It's what Trump is. Are you? Is there anybody in Tennessee who has a moral compass, who has not been brainwashed, who is not Ukrainian, who will call because they know it's the right thing to do? They don't have to have a connection. They just know it's the right thing to do. Tennessee Volunteers. That's the mascot of all the Tennessee teams. I'm a volunteer fan. I bleed orange. And I'm so embarrassed and ashamed because with Ukraine and with my documentary and all the fundraising we did, how much money do you think I got from Tennessee? I got some from my family. That's about it. And if I'm skipping anybody, I'm sorry, please correct me. But it's disgusting for a place that brought me up to want to go and help people because I'm a Tennessee volunteer, to sit and watch a whole state just dissolve into hate and to be a Trump supporter as they take bread out of the mouths of some of the poorest people on the planet while they go to church on Sunday and pretend that they are better than everyone else. You're not better than everyone else. Unless you're doing something, you're worse than everyone else because you're a hypocrite. So that's my soapbox. That's what I'm saying right now. Now I'm going to call Marsha Blackburn. I'm going to call Scott Desjardins. And I'm going to call Bill Haggerty. I'm not going to call Tim Burchett because I had a little with him, a little spat the last time I was there. And I don't think I'd be doing any good. How much good am I doing by calling right now? How much good am I doing by recording this video? I'm going to get more death threats from, guess where? Tennessee. I've got 2 death threats from Tennessee, 1 from Germany and a whole bunch from Russia. Tennessee, thank you. Thank you. You know why I got the death threats? Because I don't agree with them. Keep going. I'm sorry. They weren't death threats. They were threats of violence. The death threats come from Russia. But I don't know. You can take a gun and shoot me? Go ahead. I don't care. I won't feel it, hopefully. Don't shoot me in the leg. Shoot me in the head. Get it over with. You see me? I'm in my truck. It says raw travel. Do what you got to do. I don't have a gun. Nor will I ever get one. Killed a rabbit once. Cried for 2 days as a kid. I'm just not wired that way. But if you want to shoot somebody and take them out for disagreeing with you, you go for it. Or because they're a little too salty for your taste. But I ask that you please take a look in the mirror and think what you have become in the last 10 years. Someone I can't recognize anymore. When I go to Tennessee, I'm like, I no longer feel that warm, fuzzy feeling. Sometimes I feel glimpses of it, and then I just get sad again because I'm like, oh, this is the way it used to be all the time before everybody became maggot, a MAGA, just ultra. Everybody knows about politics, so they've never been anywhere. Though they've never even been to DC and talked to politicians. They just get it from Fox News, just streamline it, man. Just mainline it. And that's their news. That's where they got it. We're good. Or maybe they're on TikTok like a zombie and the algorithm's just feeding them over and over and over. And I feel for them because I know when I'm down south and I jump on Facebook to make a post, I see the most atrocious stuff. And I'm like, my God, they're feeding. Just because I'm in the South, they think I'm like a MAGA, a hillbilly here. And they're just feeding me all this divisive, polarizing content that's not true. Or has a grain of truth. Or maybe is 95% true, but 5% false. And that 5% false is what makes it so bad. So if that is the case, would you not try to look and see from another point of view and say, hey, man, maybe I am being told the wrong thing? The people that are telling you your government was lying to you were the people who are in the government now. And don't you think it's kind of odd that they're the ones? Fox News is the one that got sued for almost $1 billion for their fake news about the election. And they settled for almost $1 billion because they were going to lose. It's not a little 10 million ABC, let's hope the president doesn't pull our license kind of thing. This is private company to private company. It's not intimidation. And basically they admitted it. They lie to their viewers all the time. Laura Ingraham right now is lying to you. Sean Hannity, all these personalities, they're atrocious people, man. They would spit on you, laugh at you. You think they care about you? Elon Musk, $440 billion, cares about a farmer in Tennessee? Are you kidding me? But I do. But instead, I get threats of violence. And Elon Musk gets worshipped. And Trump gets worshipped. And anybody who goes against them gets a threat of violence from the very people that we care about. The reason this is upsetting to me is because I care. I love people from Tennessee because I'm from Tennessee. And I love Ukraine because I've seen their values and their courage and their moral compass, which I miss because Tennessee doesn't have it anymore. You ain't got it, yo. You say you have it, you pretend to have it, but you do not. I haven't seen evidence of it yet. Of course, I'm speaking in generalities. Of course, there are brave people. 2 Tennesseans gave their life for Ukraine. That's pretty amazing. So yes, there's hope. Those guys that did that, I can't hold a candle to them. Can you? I'm asking you, if you live in Tennessee, to think about the world you want to live in. Do you want it to be ruled by an oligarch? His businesses are benefiting mightily from all the government spending that he's cutting. And if you think Trump's not getting some of that, you don't know Trump very well. Now, I don't know Trump very well either, but I did hang out with him back in the late 90s when I first moved to New York. I wasn't impressed. He's just a normal dude, not charismatic, not particularly smart, not anything really. I never thought he'd be president. Hung out with his daughter, same thing, blah, 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 normal, whatever. No big deal. Because we're all humans, man. And some are more flawed than others. And some are a little smarter than others in certain ways, and some are other smarts in other ways. You can't say that Elon Musk isn't smart, but he's also emotionally a wreck. So is he really that smart? He certainly isn't happy. We can see that. Why are these guys so miserable? Because they're narcissists and they don't know what love is, man. And they're pulling you into their hatred. Red hat equals hatred. Why, man? Why do you want to live your life like this? I knew a man, he did not live in Tennessee, but I loved this guy. He was in his 80s, late 70s or 80s, and he was kind of a mentor to me in the business. We would get on the phone and talk about everything that's wrong with the business of television. He had been in the military, just a great stand-up guy, as I like to say. And towards the end, I think Obama was president, and you just bring up political stuff randomly, as people tend to do these days. Your Uber drivers, what do you think about blah, blah? Like, dude, what the hell? Why is everybody talking about politics now? Well, anyway, this was before this was normal. And I was just like, hey, man, you're basically just ruining the last years of your life. Why? Used to be such a friendly, gregarious, wonderful dude. I love talking to him. I would still talk to him, but it got to be so heavy, I just didn't want to talk to him anymore. He was mainlining Fox News, had changed everything about him. You know people like that, I bet. Maybe you're one. If you are one, I doubt if you're watching this far. I know other people like that. I got other stories I could tell, but I'm not going to do it. I'm going to call these people. I'm not going to read the script that they want me to read because I have some problems with it. I'm going to tell them from the heart that I think that they should be supporting Ukraine and not Russia. And I'm going to leave it at that. You don't have to get very complex. You just have to say, man, I support freedom and democracy. I don't support whatever Russia has become and whatever Putin is and whatever Trump may be trying to make us. I don't support it. I don't support it. If that means I fall out of a window someday, that'll be a horrible way to die. It won't be the worst, but so be it, man. Or some dude takes it too far. Instead of decides to threaten me online, just, decides to see me. I'm easy to spot. I'm in the truck. It's got my show name all over it. Pulls up and blows me away. It's fine, man, whatever. Or if I'm in Ukraine and a Russian bomb falls on me, there's a million ways to die. Those are just 3 instances that I can think of. And it probably won't even go down like that. I don't know. But when it does, what I do want to know is that I did the right thing. I stood up for the voice. I spoke for the voiceless. I stood up for those who couldn't stand up for themselves or needed a little help standing up. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? Why are we celebrating evil people and denigrating the good? Why are we pretending that Putin's a hero and Zelensky's a villain? Well, that's insane. By any metric, that's insane. You're swallowing bad information if you think that. And Russia's got plenty of it out there. But stop it. Take control of your brain again. Don't let TikTok, Fox News, Facebook, the algorithms tell you what to think. Go out there and figure it out for yourself. And if you don't know the answer, that's okay. You can find more information that's valid, that's vetted, and then you can come to the conclusion that makes sense through critical thinking, not through simple brainwash. Take it in, spit it out. That's nothing. Anyone could fall for that. So I'm not faulting you, man. I'm saying don't do it. In Tennessee, I love you, or I wouldn't be saying this. But I need to see some volunteer spirit. And hey, man, you can tell me that I don't belong, or I moved up north and I've changed and I'm a communist or a Marxist or any of the number of names that you guys want to, a Democrat, a Democrat, whatever, man. I don't care what you, or a sheeple, which is funny, a communist, even though I'm a capitalist. I mean, these are all funny things. You don't even know me, but you say those things because I don't agree with you. So it makes you want to spit out these woke, woke, this guy's woke, all these silly things, man. It doesn't make sense. I don't think you know how bad it looks. It's a bad look. And of course, some people are going to say, this is a bad look. I'm doing a bad look. Well, I'm being me. And I've never stopped being me. If anything, I'm being me more than I've ever been before in my life. And I plan on being me a lot more. So you don't have to like it. But I'm asking you. You don't even have to do this, but I'm asking you to please take a look at the facts. Who's benefiting from all these things that Musk is doing? He is. Why are we even thinking about supporting Russia? The guy who threatened to nuke us? That's appeasement. You can't appease a bully. You got to beat him. If we beat him, the world becomes much, much, much better. And guess what? All that crap that you're seeing on social media, a lot less of it. There'll still be some. But once you get rid of the misery that Russia has become, I don't know what shape and form that's going to be, but Putin's no longer a leader. It's broken up, or finally democracy takes hold. I'm not sure how that works, but their army is so weakened that they are no longer a player. And they finally can figure out that social media blocks all that garbage they flood our zones with, that the algorithms with. You know how much better of a world it's going to be? So much better. You'll love it. You'll love it. Not all the time, but you'll love it. Or your money back. How's that? All right, guys, I'm going to make a phone call. I know nobody watched 22 minutes of this. Sorry for the rant, but it is what it is. I don't care.